Today, in our series, Fine Poetry, Part 10, we look at the poems of Rumi and Kabir. There has been so much written about Rumi, and so many beautiful books of his poetry published. One has only to look up his name on the internet, and one can read for hours. Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi was a 13th century Persian poet, an Islamic dervish, and a Sufi mystic. He is regarded as one of the greatest spiritual masters and poetical intellects. Born in 1207 A.D., he belonged to a family of learned theologians. He made use of everyday life's circumstances to describe the spiritual world. Rumi's poems have acquired immense popularity, especially among the Persian speakers of Afghanistan, Iran, and Tajikistan. Numerous poems written by the great poet have been translated to different languages. Again, with Kabir, there is so much information available on the internet. Kabir was a much revered 15th century Indian mystic poet and saint whose writings inspired people hailing from all faiths, including Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs. Several of his verses are included in the Sikhs' holy scripture, Adi Granth. The details surrounding his birth are obscure, though it is known that he was raised in a Muslim family and was later greatly influenced by the Hindu bhakti leader Ramananda. An independent thinker, he questioned the futile and meaningless rituals followed by the adherents of both Hinduism and Islam, and suggested that the true God is only with the person who is on the path of righteousness, and considered all creatures on earth as his own self. To begin, here are a few quotes from Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. The wound is the place where the light enters you. What you seek is seeking you. The first poem, Bad Dreams. One day, you will look back and laugh at yourself. You'll say, I can't believe I was so asleep. How did I ever forget the truth? How ridiculous to believe that sadness and sickness are anything other than bad dreams. Come, come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, yet again, come, come. Bird song. Bird song, brings relief to my longing. I'm just as ecstatic as they are, but with nothing to say. Please, universal soul, practice some song or something through me. The way things should. What will our children do in the morning? Will they wake with their hearts wanting to play the way wings should? Will they have dreamed the needed flights and gathered the strength from the planets that all men and women need to balance the wonderful charms of the earth, so that her power and beauty does not make us forget our own? I know all about the ways of the heart, how it wants to be alive. Love so needs to love that it will endure almost anything, even abuse, just to flicker for a moment. But the sky's mouth is kind. Its song will never hurt you, for I sing those words. What will our children do in the morning if they do not see us fly? A stone, I died. A stone, I died, and rose again a plant. A plant, I died, and rose an animal. I died an animal, and was born a man. Why should I fear? What have I lost by death? A moment of happiness. A moment of happiness. You and I sitting on the veranda. Apparently two, but one in soul, you and I. We feel the flowing water of life here, you and I, with the garden's beauty and the birds singing. The stars will be watching us, and we will show them what it is to be a thin crescent moon. You and I, unselfed, will be together, indifferent to idle speculation, you and I. The parrots of heaven will be cracking sugar as we laugh together, you and I, in one form upon this earth, and in another form in a timeless, sweet land. Do you love me? A lover asked his beloved, do you love yourself more than you love me? The beloved replied, I have died to myself, and I live for you. I've disappeared from myself and my attributes. I am present only for you. I have forgotten all my learning, but from knowing you, I have become a scholar. I have lost all my strength, but from your power I am able. If I love myself, I love you. If I love you, I love myself. I see so deeply within myself. I see so deeply within myself. Not needing my eyes, I can see everything clearly. Why would I want to bother my eyes again, now that I see the world through his eyes? I swear, since seeing your face, The whole world is fraud and fantasy. The garden is bewildered as to what is leaf or blossom. The distracted birds can't distinguish the birdseed from the snare. A house of love with no limits, a presence more beautiful than Venus or the moon, a beauty whose image fills the mirror of the heart. In love. In love, aside from sipping the wine of timelessness, nothing else exists. There is no reason for living except for giving one's life. I said, "First I know you, then I die." He said, "For the one who knows me, there is no dying." Here I am. All night, a man called Allah, until his lips were bleeding. Then the devil said, "Hey, Mr. Gullible, how come you've been calling all night and never once heard Allah say, 'Here I am'? You call out so earnestly, and in reply, what? I'll tell you what, nothing." The man suddenly felt empty and abandoned. Depressed, he threw himself on the ground and fell into a deep sleep. In a dream, he met Abraham, who asked, "Why are you regretting praising Allah?" The man said, "I called and called, but Allah never replied. Here I am." Abraham explained, "Allah has said, 'Your calling my name is my reply. Your longing for me is my message to you. And all your attempts to reach me are in reality my attempts to reach you. Your fear and love are a noose to catch me." In the silence surrounding every call of Allah waits 1,000 replies of "Here I am." And now, some poems of Kabir. I have been thinking. I have been thinking of the difference between water and the waves on it. Rising, water still water. Falling back, it is water. Will you give me a hint how to tell them apart? Because someone has made up the word wave, do I have to distinguish it from water? There is a secret one inside us. The planets in all the galaxies pass through his hands like beads. That is a string of beads one should look at with luminous eyes. Are you looking for me? Are you looking for me? I am in the next seat. My shoulder is against yours. You will not find me in the stupas, not in Indian shrine rooms, nor in synagogues, nor in cathedrals, not in masses, nor kirtans, not in legs winding around your own neck, nor in eating nothing but vegetables. When you really look for me, you will see me instantly. You will find me in the tiniest house of time. Kabir says, "Student, tell me, what is God?" He is the breath inside the breath. There's a moon in my body. There's a moon in my body, but I can't see it. A moon and a sun. A drum never touched by hands, beating, and I can't hear it. As long as a human being worries about when he will die, and what he has that is his, all of his works are zero. When affection for the I creature and what it owns is dead, then the work of the teacher is over. The purpose of labor is to learn. When you know it, the labor is over. The apple blossom exists to create fruit. When that comes, the petal falls. The musk is inside the deer, but the deer does not look for it. It wanders around looking for grass. My body and my mind. My body and my mind are in depression because you are not with me. How much I love you and want you in my house. When I hear people describe me as your bride, I look sideways, ashamed, because I know that far inside us we have never met. Then what is this love of mine? I really don't care about food. I don't really care about sleep. I am restless, indoors and outdoors. The bride wants her lover as much as a thirsty man wants water. And how will I find someone who will take a message to the guest from me? How restless Kabir is all the time. How much he wants to see the guest. The Bhakti Path. The Bhakti Path winds in a delicate way. On this path there is no asking and no not asking. The ego simply disappears the moment you touch him. The joy of looking for him is so immense that you just dive in and coast around like a fish in the water. If anyone needs a head, the lover leaps up to offer his. Kabir's poems touch on the secrets of this bhakti. All these poems I have just read of Kabir were translated by the great poet Robert Bly. Between the poles of the conscious, between the poles of the conscious and the unconscious, there has the mind made a swing. Thereon hang all beings and all worlds, and that swing never ceases its sway. Millions of beings are there. The sun and the moon in their courses are there. Millions of ages pass, and the swing goes on. All swing, the sky and the earth and the air and the water, and the Lord himself. taking form. And the sight of this has made Kabir a servant. Do not go to the garden of flowers. Do not go to the garden of flowers. Do not go to the garden of flowers. O friend, go not there. In your body is the garden of flowers. Take your seat on the 1,000 petals of the lotus, and there gaze on the infinite beauty. Abode of the beloved. O companion, that abode is unmatched, where my complete beloved is. In that place there is no happiness or unhappiness, no truth or untruth, neither sin nor virtue. There is no day or night, no moon or sun. There is radiance without light. There is no knowledge or meditation, no repetition of mantra or austerities, neither speech coming from Vedas or books, doing, not doing, holding, leaving. All these are lost too in that place. No home, no homeless, neither outside or inside. Micro and macrocosm are non-existent. 5 elemental constituents and the Trinity are both not there. Witnessing unstruck Shabad sound is also not there. No root or flower, neither branch or seed. Without a tree, fruits are adorning. Primordial Om sound, breath synchronized Soham. This and that, all are absent. The breath too, unknown. Where the beloved is, there is utterly nothing. Says Kabir, I have come to realize, whoever sees my indicative sign will accomplish the goal of liberation. And the last poem by Kabir. Friend, hope for the guest while you are alive. Friend, hope for the guest while you are alive. Jump into experience while you are alive. Think and think while you are alive. What you call salvation belongs to the time before death. If you don't break your ropes while you're alive, do you think ghosts will do it after? The idea that the soul will join with the ecstatic just because the body is rotten, that is all fantasy. What is found now is found then. If you find nothing now, you will simply end up with an apartment in the city of death. If you make love with the divine now, in the next life, you will have the face of satisfied desire. So plunge into the truth, find out who the teacher is, believe in the great sound. Kabir says this, when the guest is being searched for, it is the intensity of the longing for the guest that does all the work. Look at me, and you will see a slave of that intensity.